for tuning in. This is Optibotimus coming with another video review. And today, thanks to Bad Cube, we'll be taking an early look at their old-time series 5, 6, and 7 of Claymore, Hypno, and Kickbutt. Now, collectively, you can buy all three of these as part of a value pack from Big Bad Toy Store. Or if you want to get the collector's edition, they're sold individually, and each one slightly varies from what you see here. Those ones will have some die-cast parts. Instead of the yellow bits right up on their chest section, it's going to be a clear piece, much like how the original G1 Insecticon toys were, and a few other cosmetic differences. But because I got the entire set of them, I'm going to take a look at all three of them here in this one video. Now, they all do come with individual weapons, I'll show that off, but they also do come with a Energon cube. As you can see, really cool semi-translucent piece right here that really does look nice and nicely filters the light from anywhere, but specifically here with my review area. I mean, that looks really very cool. They are very rubbery. They are kind of sticky to each other, and not so much anything that you touch. I mean, you can touch it and you can see it doesn't really, it's a push real. No, I guess it kind of does stick a little, not much, but when you push them together, it does kind of stick. So you can kind of create a cool look for them. I do wish that we got more of these. I would love to buy a whole bunch of these just for display purposes, because I really do think that these are really quite cool. But you do get three of them, one with each figure. Now, setting that off to the side. And obviously, as you can see, these are essentially masterpiece scaled Insecticons. More specifically, Bad Cube's take on them. Up first, we have Claymore, who obviously, as you can see, is an homage to Shrapnel, and looks really very, very cool. Definitely has that Shrapnel look to him. I mean, there's no mistaking who this guy is supposed to be. Really quite cool. These all have some really interesting transformation elements, but still actually are pretty simple. I'm really quite impressed with how they actually engineered these. It's really well done, all of them are. Now, Claymore and Hypno are probably a little bit easier to actually transform, whereas a Kickbutt is a little bit more complicated, but still fairly simple nonetheless. Now, as you can see with Claymore, he does have that kind of, I don't even know what kind of insect it is, but it's still a pretty good representation of how he looked in both toy form as well as the cartoon. Now, this has a little bit more of a cartoon look because, as I said, his chest piece here, as you can see, is this yellow, which I will say, in the final versions, these are test samples, so things like tolerances and some colors will change a little bit, such as the yellow on here. It'll have a little bit more richer of an actual tone as opposed to the yellow that's currently on it. If you do get the collector edition, it will be that clearish amber color, much like the actual G1 toy. So these guys have a little bit more of a cartoon look, which I dig. That works perfectly for me. For his articulation in this mode, you don't really have much. I mean, I guess you could say that these little bits right here flex down. You got the little toe here that kind of moves, so you can kind of prop them up a little bit. These sections right here are on ball joints though, so you can get these moving around, or even one cool thing is you can come around, put that, well, not like that, you can put them where he's got his Energon cube, kind of squeeze that together, and you can have him actually kind of holding that, which I think is really cool. I mean, the Insecticons were all about the Energon cube, so really very nice. Now, getting these guys out of the way, just because they're going to want to take the focal point here with my camera, but really, really very nice. Now, for the transformation, I'm just going to tuck these down, get those out of the way, come around here to this side, take this little section here, kind of slide this away. You're going to loosen up these arms, so slide that away, and that'll loosen this, where then you can detach this. Make sure that you get that. It tabs in on the inside of his thigh, so it can be tough. So I'm just going to fold these. You do have weapon storage for him, just plugs in the bottom, so I'm going to set that off to the side. But his arms tab in very securely. You can see these tabs go into the side right there where his thighs will be. So just give those a nice little pull and kind of get those away from the body. Then come around here to the legs. Going to split these down the middle, just like that. Kind of swivel that out. Then rotate this section down like so. Do that here as well. Come around here to the inside. You got this section. This is a little bit tough to grab because I don't have the smallest of fingers, but pull that out like so. Do that there as well. You're going to rotate this body section or lower section down. Bring this piece back up. Slide that back up. collapse this, and then you want to try and get this lined up here. You got two little holes right on the inside here that you bring these down, and then that will push all the way in. And that's one thing I'll say, that the plastic quality is really very good. Angle this, there we go, just like that. Why is that not straight? Hold on. That should be accordion down. There we go. Keep that flush and then bring that in. The plastic quality, really very good on here. I definitely feel an improvement, and I did confirm directly with Bad Cube what the plastic quality would be like on here, just straightening out his foot. And they actually said that they improved the plastic from their War Dog figure. So that actually impressed me, because the War Dog it felt very sturdy, very solid, and I wanted to know how this would actually hold up. And they said that they actually improved it. So it does have a better quality in terms of plastics than their previous figure, which I thought was really very good. So we're just going to straighten this out. You can see this section here folds out like so. Fold that out like so there. Kind of position these. And then this section here, this is actually kind of cool. You got like an empty chest right here. And then as you push this down, there's a lot of kind of automorph on these, I guess you could say. These are actually going to come out. So watch this section right here. As I bring this down, that will kind of have to push it in there. You can see these pieces pop up, which is really very cool. I like that. Like I said, a little bit of automorph, which I think is neat. Then this section here, this is kind of a pain in the butt. Pull this out, rotate down. Now that's actually, okay, that's going to be easy. Fold that up just like so. Do that. Oh, that already flopped out. Rotate that around. It's easier to rotate one way than the other for some reason on mine. Then fold that up like so. Collapse that on the back. Position the arms down just like that, and kind of positioning him. And there you have Claymore. And let's see, get his ankles tilted a little bit so I can spread his legs. But there you have Claymore in his robot mode. And up next, here we have Hypno. And as you can see, Hypno is this rhinoceros beetle that kind of resembles a certain Insecticon known as Bombshell. And this guy, again, pretty cool representation of how Bombshell looked in both the cartoon as well as the actual toy. And there's actually some really cool stuff going on with this as well. Like I said, all of them have some really interesting details that are kind of put in here. For example, one thing that I like to mention is he's got this purple section, which nicely resembles obviously how the cartoon looked, but this section also does remove, and it reveals a gray section underneath it, giving him a further more cartoon accurate look, because he didn't have this purple in terms of the cartoon. But overall, fairly cool looking. Again, it obviously looks like a rhinoceros beetle. For his articulation, the front legs here do flex up and down. You got a little joint right there. You also got a joint right here. That's on both sides. These little bits right here on the side, they have a little bit of a toe that flexes forward and back. You got this section that does move, so you do have some articulation there. And then obviously you come around here to the back section, and I guess you could kind of say that those are his little back legs, but those flex around a little bit as well. So there is some articulation in his little insect mode that you can kind of make him look like he's a little creepy crawly guy. And I'll let you know that my wife does not like these figures. She says they look way too bug-like and very creepy. So there's the official opinion of Mrs. Optibotanist. But for this transformation, we're just going to remove this. This is going to become his gun, and then this actually transforms a little bit. You just fold this in like so, and then you fold that down, and basically you have Hypno's gun. For Claymore, I didn't show this, but literally it's just, you got this little handle thing, so that's all you do. Then you come around here to this guy, kind of loosen this up. We're going to fold this out, just kind of get this out of the way. Move that up there. These sections here will collapse in just down like so. Do that there as well. Kind of keep that up. There we go. Keep that so you can kind of have it looking something along those lines. The hands will rotate, and then this section here folds down here. You're creating his hands right now, obviously. Fold that down. Let's see, get that all the way, rotate it around like so, and then you just collapse the little gun section here on the outer section of his actual forearms. These pieces here are going to loosen up and detach, and again, that covers it. And then when you split those legs, you can see folding this down then reveals his actual gray chest piece, which I think is great. I think that's a wonderful little touch. Absolutely dig that. So we're going to straighten out his legs like so. This section here is going to, well, first detach this on the side. Come on, there we go. Detach that. There we are. This is a little tricky, but fold that around, and that's going to clip in there. Do that on this side as well. Again, I'll detach that section, make sure that stays detached. There's a little tab down there that actually you're not supposed to bring that all the way in. You got to bring this up. Hold on. So don't put that down there yet. So again, kind of wiggle this up. Yeah, this is a time where I wish I had fingernails. There we go. Get that up just like so. And then these sections here, you're going to collapse this. And then these bits here, kind of let's get this out of the way, keep that there. And then this section here has to fold around and in. So, oh, I'm sorry, lift this. I forgot that little piece right there. Then this little section here, fold this out, and these collapse up and tuck behind here just like so. And then make sure you get that all the way down. I want to make sure that I have that. There we go. That collapses all the way up inside there. So again, move that out. This goes down. Bring this up and get that out of the way. And make sure you collapse that all the way in just like that. Then you can bring this and collapse this section. Do that there. Fold the foot down, accordion it. You're going to fold out his little heel. One thing that I will say, it's kind of strange. This is the front of his leg. But what's weird to me is it almost feels like this should be the front of his leg, but this is the front. There's just more color there. So I really do kind of think that somehow this would look better if it was rotated around. Like if you spun this around like that, that I think actually looks a little bit better in terms of the coloring right here, but you do have the ugly screw holes there. So it is supposed to go like this. It's not terrible, don't get me wrong or anything. I mean, I just think that in terms of aesthetic, the back of his legs look a little bit better. So take this section here. We're going to fold this bit right here, get these arms all the way up here. Take this, rotate these little bits down, and then rotate these up just like so. Pull this whole section out just like that. This head rotates around. Oh, I'm sorry. First, before you do that, rotate this top section around and then bring the head in just like that. Get that all the way through there. Hold on. Get that up. There we go. Bend that. And then that collapses up like so. You can bring that closed there. Then this section right here, you're going to bring that in. And then that tabs in just like that along his back. I have no idea what this section is here other than it's just meant to go up. You could leave it down, but I don't know what that's for. So I'm just going to leave it up like that. Bring this up, fold that down, fold his arms, get that nice and positioned again. And then you can get these. Actually, did I collapse these wrong? I might have. There we go. Well, no, no, yeah, I did collapse that wrong. So fold that down like that, in, and like that. There we go. Get that all the way in there. If you're gonna collapse things, do it properly, Paul. Silly me. There we go. Get that like that, and like that. Straighten out his head. And there you have Hypno now. Get that position properly. But once you're done, there you have Hypno in his robot mode. And finally we come to Kick Butt, which obviously, as you can tell, is a representation of G1 Kickback. And he's a giant grasshopper of sorts. Now, this is the guy that probably has the most involved transformation, and it's not that it's hard, but it is fairly challenging, and it's enjoyable in a challenging kind of way. But for his insect mode, you can see that his little head can rotate. It really can't look up and down or anything. Well, I mean, you can lift up the whole head, but you can see that he's got a little mask that hides his actual robot face, which is very accurate to the cartoon. Now, his little antennae do flex forward and back, so you can get some articulation there. These little bits right here, they can move, but they're not really meant to kind of like do much other than just kind of sit there. These back legs, they kind of flex in and out. You got some toe pivot, I guess, you know, these little bits right here. There's a little section right here that makes up his hip that kind of, you can move around in. I mean, honestly, you're not getting a ton of articulation. You can move these little bits down as well, but you don't really need a heck of a lot, to be totally honest. It's not something that I instantly was like, oh my god, this thing needs more articulation. You can move these little wings down if you want to kind of give it a little bit more laid back of a look. But all in all, again, a really cool looking representation of Kickback. You can take his little Energon cube and you can have him, you know, eating it or something like that. I don't think he makes those sounds when he does it, but you know, you never know. Now for his transformation, this is a really cool one. Like I said, first we're going to take these little bits right here. We're just going to tuck these back up like that, and bringing those in kind of just creates a little bit of free space. We're going to angle this, then angle this, bring those down just like that. Come down here to the legs, they slide out, and then this whole section you want to straighten that up, and then these are on little springs, so you want to kind of push that in and then rotate it up in here. It's kind of, there we go, get it up and inside there, have that all the way out, bring that in, and then this little section right here actually comes down and locks that into place. And that's actually what gives him his knee joint, which is really cool. So you bring this down just like that. Otherwise, it's just kind of floppy. So bringing this up, straightening that, bringing or angling that in, bringing that in like so, tuck that in, and then you bring that down, locks that into place. Again, now you have a ratchet joint, which I do think is really cool. So straightening these out just a little bit, come down here, rotate this down just like so, rotate this around, and then bring that down. Now you have his feet. And then this is where things start really getting interesting with this guy. So first you want to kind of straighten this up, and then these little pieces right here are going to detach and fold down just on the side, just like so. Then you want to make sure that you bring this up, or we're going to separate this. Let's see, bring this up. I think you bring that up like that, and then you pull this whole section away from the body just like that. Or maybe you don't have to do that yet, but the section is really pretty fun to do. Now some of this is a little bit tough to get into, but get a little thing, wedge that down, pull that out, and this whole section here actually does slide forward just a little bit to give it some clearance right there. So we're going to pull this away from the body just like that. There we go. Get that loosened up. Now, later on, you are going to want to make sure, like I said, you have this section here. You want to keep that rounded so that you got a full opening right there. If you keep it like that, you won't be able to slide it later on. So you do want to keep it like that. So bring this out, and then this section here is going to spin around, get this out of the way, and then these sections come up, and this is a little tricky to do. Just kind of rotate this. Just be patient as you're doing it, but rotate that around, and then you have clearance right here to bring these sections in, and then you can spin that out like so, and then take these, tuck these up underneath here just like that. So again, do that on this side, rotate that all the way around so that you have the clearance, bring that in. Did I get that all the way? No, yeah, hold on, gotta make sure I get the right amount of clearance there. There we go. And then bring this, come on, there we go, like that. Get that arm now out of the way so that you can bring this in, flex that all the way down, and then bring this up, leaving, well, I think it's you leave the purple or the black section up. I honestly don't remember. Yeah, that's right. You push that all the way up. So you want to leave the black section down. The purple section on the opposite side you don't want to leave facing up, because then it won't tab or close all the way. So keep the black section up, collapse that all the way in, slot that down just like so. So now you bring this section around, bring these in, right like so, kind of just leave them right there, bring that around, and again, this is where you want to make sure that this whole section is completely clear. So lift this up first. We're going to take this section, this is going to detach and fold up and under like so, then spin his head around, and then while you have this gap open, take this, the face shield, and tuck that down just like that. So that's all going to be underneath there. So bring this in, and then this is a little bit tricky to do, but you want to line that up Make sure that, like I said, you have that full clearance right there. Bring that up. Slowly start sliding that together, and then about halfway, that's when you want to take this section, you want to swivel this up, because you have this bit right here that needs to come up, rotating this all the way around. Get that in there like that. That's going to go all the way up, and getting these arms out of the way, hopefully you can see that. There's a little notch that you need to push this all the way up into right there. That'll kind of groove into place right there, and then you can push the rest of the chest in, and that's going to lock that whole torso in. So it's a little bit tricky, but it's actually fairly easy to do. So then you just rotate that down, and now you can spin these towards the back, straightening him out. And there you have Kick Butt looking at you and in his robot mode. And here they all are, Kick Butt, Hypno, and Claymore. And again, the way that these guys come across in robot mode is absolutely terrific. Now, aesthetically, I really get a very updated kind of G1 toy feel for these, with much more improved articulation and obviously in more of a masterpiece scale, with a few nods to how they looked in the cartoon. But for me, like I said, I really get more of that toy kind of feel, and I don't mind that at all. And that's why I think the collector edition, which will give you the clear or amber colored translucent chest pieces, some die cast, and a few other paint applications, really probably serves these particular figures a lot better. I really do like the guys. Now, one thing that I forgot to show with Kick Butt is his weapon. This folds out like so. This folds up, and then you got the little hand. There we go. All right, so you do have his gun, you got Hypno's gun, and you have that Claymore's gun. And to put those on, you can see that they got the little small handle. It's very similar, if you're familiar with the way that they actually, and by they I mean Bad Cube, how they actually do their guns. It's very similar, very tough. Good Lord, these joints are really solid on here. You almost got to wedge it all the time. So you got to put it in on an angle like so, and then close it around. So get it in there, close it, and then when you close the actual fist, that stays in there absolutely perfectly. So there's that guy we got. Now, for me, my favorites are probably these two. Kick Butt, starting off with him, I really like the way that he looks. And like I said, I think that the transformation and engineering is really quite fun. Oh, and you're supposed to rotate his arms around. So I did have his arm. Holy cow, Paul. I did have the hand rotated right. I had his wrist rotated wrong. So, goodness, why don't you guys got to tell me this stuff? I look to you, YouTube viewers. All right, there we go. The biggest thing that's weird on this one for me are his hips. In some angles, you get it where it looks like he barely has any kind of waist right there. And then, let's see, get that hand out of the way, get that out of the way. You can kind of, yeah, see, you can kind of see it. That's really it. And it needs to be tightened a little bit. It's on a different kind of swivel joint right there. But for me, I don't know, just something about this particular guy has a strange look for me. I'm not 100% in this guy's corner. I like him, don't get me wrong, but Hypno and Claymore definitely have much more of an appeal to me. It's just, for me, just that waist area, and maybe it's because his hips stick out so far. I don't know. It just seems kind of strange and weirdly shaped, I guess, to me. But don't get me wrong. I still really like the guy, and I absolutely love the engineering that's involved in him. For Hypno, again, really cool look. Definitely has that more cartoon look, especially here with the gray chest piece. One thing that I will say, and this is entirely my fault, Claymore and Kick Butt both come with alternate face sculpts. They're more of a smirking kind of face. Unfortunately, though, I can't find mine. I know I got them, but I have no idea what I did with them. So I do apologize, but they're just smirks on the mouth. But Hypno doesn't come with an alternate face, because obviously he just has the face guard. But really cool looking figure. As I mentioned before, I think it looks a little bit better with some color here facing the front. But all in all, I don't think it's really all that bad even this way. It's just a minor thing, I guess, for me, but still looks really cool. I love the fact that also you can open their chests a la the G1 toy. Granted, this guy's a little bit more complicated to do because you have to slide it out, so that's a little bit tough to actually do, but you can't pull it off. And then for Claymore, it's, again, you got that section right there, but you got that giant post that slides up into his chest. But again, real cool look on him, real nice G1 cartoon or toy look with some cartoon elements thrown in there. All of them really good. The plastic is very solid on these. I really could not be more impressed with how the sturdiness of each figure really has come out. Now, for their articulation, Kick Butt here will look left and right. He kind of looks up and down. I want to say that maybe this section here should get rotated towards the back, the little chest piece, because then it limits his head looking down some, but you can still do it. But real cool look on there. You got ball joints here at the shoulder, so nice range of motion. They rotate here at the upper part of the bicep. He's got double joints. And then for the hands, the fingers down at this knuckle here are articulated, so you can get those to open and close. They also can rotate at the wrist themselves. The waist, as you can see, can rotate, can pivot sort of forward and back. The hips are on nice rotation joints that just rotate forward and back, and then he's got a bit of a swivel that allows it to go in and out. A lot of range of motion right there. I mean, it's really quite impressive how they actually did it. And then you also have a rotation right up there in addition to those two other joints. He's got nice soft ratchet joints here at the knee. Ankles move forward and back, and they do kind of pivot sideways a little bit. The back section obviously doesn't, but the front toes do, so you can get a wide pose to look a little bit more dynamic, and I dig it. I think it's cool looking. I'm gonna get a nice little pose going for the guy, and that's not really good looking, but yeah, that's something like that, I guess. Or you guys know I'm not very good at this whole posing thing, so that's the best you're gonna get. Now for Hypno, basically the exact same thing. You've got a small ball joint right there on his head, looks left and right. This section here is articulated, so you can move that around. You got a rotation here at the shoulder. You can kind of move them forward and back just as part of the transformation. They move in and out as well. This section here does kind of flop up, so if you don't want to leave it down like that, rotate that all the way up. It'll stay like that. It's your personal preference. Does rotate here at the upper part of the bicep. He's only got one joint here. Well, no, he actually does have two joints here at the elbow. I'm sorry, just very minimal there. The wrists do rotate. The fingers also have that same articulation at that knuckle right there. He rotates at the waist, has a little bit of pivot forward and back. The hips, same kind of joint. You got a soft ratchet or a little clicky ratchet moving forward and back. In and out. You got some soft ratchets here at the knee, and then the ankles move in and out. They don't really pivot forward and back, but you can get him as well in a really cool dynamic kind of pose that does look neat. I kind of like leaving these down. I wish these did stay down a little bit better. I think that looks a little bit better personally, so just angle that like that if you have to. But really cool look for this guy. Definitely a solid representation of actually Bombshell, and then I didn't like that guy's pose, so I fixed them. And then Claymore here, the head just rotates. It doesn't look, oh no, it actually does look up and down. I'm sorry. So you do have a nice range of motion there. The shoulders here are on ball joints though, much like actually Kick Butts. You got a rotation here at the upper part of the thigh, very stiff on there. Double joints for the elbow. Again, the wrists do rotate all the way around. You got the fingers that move in and out at that joint as well. You come down here, you got rotation and pivot forward and back at the waist. The hips forward and back, in and out. They do rotate just a little bit. There's a swivel right behind this section right there that allows you to rotate that around. You got a joint here for the knee. The ankles do move forward and back, and they also do pivot in and out. So again, you can get a cool dynamic look. The only thing that's really kind of missing is the ankle tilt, which a lot of people seem to really like on third-party figures. I don't know why, but it's a big thing nowadays. So you got all these figures with ankle tilt, and I think that the only thing, like I said, that was missing was you can't really move this one forward and back all that much. So It does still have the ankle tilt, it just doesn't have the forward and back rotation. So, I mean, these guys really do look absolutely cool together. And then for a size comparison, here you have him next to the X-Transbot Apollyon, as well as the Masterpiece Soundwave. That way you can see basically where these guys fit, and seeing how the Insecticons were roughly mini-bot size, these fit perfectly. Now for their transformation back, first we're going to take the guns off of all these guys, so get that off, set that off to the side. Bring his hands down, just kind of straighten them back out. And then what you're going to do, get these arms kind of out of the way. This whole section here, just rotate this back. You're going to try and line that up with those posts that his arms slid into, and then just wiggle that, loosen that section up, and then you're going to, if you have that completely lined up the proper way, this whole section will slide all the way back just like so. And then looking at this, I guess you could, I mean, you could take this section, and I wonder if you could actually reverse this. It does look like it swivels, but maybe it's not designed to go all the way in the back. So you are kind of stuck with it there, although I guess you could rotate it all the way to the back of his head like that if you really wanted to. But I actually like tucking it away. So we're going to bring that up, and then we can get these out of the way. We don't need those there anymore. And then bring this up. We're going to cover his face just like so. Now, well, again, lift these up out of the way. This section here slides forward and rotates up, and then you can bring this piece out just like so. Take this, collapse this back down, straighten that up, and then the head will actually rotate around to that side just like so. Come around here to these arms. Again, this part's a little bit tricky, so just take your time, go with it, and try and be patient, I suppose. Take this, kind of get this up out of the way, and then these pieces here are going to swivel down and rotate out. But again, you have to make sure that you get enough clearance here with these sections here. So just pull that up, swivel this out. It's pretty easy just to kind of pull it around like so, and then you bring these pieces, you had them down like this, you're going to bring this around, rotate the forearm around like so, and then come together, and then make sure that the hands are all the way collapsed down, and then you're going to bring these two sections and tab these forearm bits together nice and securely like so. But get these arms, let's get these up and out of the way, kind of rotate those around where they're going to be, bring this up just like so. Then, like I said, you got to rotate these down, and there we go, tuck that underneath there just like that, keeping it along those lines, and then make sure everything is collapsed properly so that it kind of sits in there fairly flush like, so you do have it like that. And then you're going to bring this section up, and you're going to then tuck it back up over there. So bringing that there, collapsing this up just like so, straighten that down, so you got that now collapsed down. Take these little sections, fold these forward, tab that in right there, do that on this side as well, lock that in. This section right here is going to swivel down some, there we go, and then this bit right here actually comes in. This is actually going to lock in right up in here. If I can, there we go, just kind of push that down, locks it in there fairly nicely. Again, just getting these arms out of the way. They're going to rotate. You're going to have the little bug arms. They're going to collapse up like so along the side. Get the little bug arm. Come here, bug arm. There we go. Just like that. So again, you're bringing this up, collapsing that in. Once you get it all rotated and fiddled with the proper way, there we go. Just like that. Bring this out. Just like that. So now you're seeing him basically get back into his bug shape. Kind of take these legs, fold these back, take the little feet section. You're going to rotate that around, tuck that up there. Do that here as well. Tuck that there. These little leg pieces, these are going to get detached, and just lift those forward just like that. Very stiff. You have to do that as well. Just be careful when you're doing it. So now you have that, then this whole section will loosen, but take this and spring this out. And that's actually kind of fun because it kind of springs when you have it like that. Let's see, get that all the way down and collapse it, and then it kind of springs in, well, not going to do it now, but it kicks, kind of. Fold that back, take that, collapse that down some, kind of angle that up. Do that on this side as well. Oh, and then you want to take these little pieces right here. You got two little tabs right here that are going to lock this section down. So just give those a nice little push. If you had them lined up properly, it tabs in fairly easily. It's just kind of hard to see and to actually do at the same time. And it's actually part of the hand or the arm section here. So you do have to, again, make sure that you have those positioned properly to kind of tab down and lock into place. It's not the easiest, but there we go. So we're going to swivel this down, bring this up. This is going to slide around, and then you got the leg there. Swivel this back, then take this little foot section, and this is actually going to spring out. There we go, just like that. Keep that down, keep that down. Just collapse that there, collapse that there, kind of position everything. I kind of messed everything up here along the side. There we go, get that lined back up. All right, there we go, we got that position in there. So one thing that I wish that this section down here could lock in, because as it is, that just kind of flops around, and I don't see a place really where it could actually tab in. But once you position everything, you gotta then kind of fiddle with things to get them where they're supposed to be positionally, get the wings up, get the legs straightened, and there you have Kick Butt back in his insect mode. Up next we have Hypno that we're going to transform back into his bug, so we're going to get rid of his gun, again straighten out his little hand. The hands actually will rotate around, and then you'll fold these little bits out just like so. Do that on both sides, get that all the way around just like that. These little side ones are going to flex out, kind of just getting some small easy stuff done and out of the way first and foremost. So there we have that. Take this section here, we're going to open up his chest. Take this back section, we're going to get that kind of out of the way. Lift this, pull that away from the body, and then the little cannon section here, just this is going to pull out. This whole bit right here rotates around. You kind of want to tuck the gun just like so, where it's at the top, and spin this around just like so, and then bring this whole section towards the front. Bring this down, and then that locks into place. Take these, detach these from the side. They're going to then angle outward, and they rotate out just like so, something like that, or maybe it's the other way around, maybe it's like that, I don't know. We'll rotate around when we get to that point. So you had it collapsed in, bring it out just like so, and then bring it back, locks into place just like so. Bring this down, maybe that's actually supposed to stay up here for bug mode. I don't actually know, it doesn't really show anything, but I'll just leave it right there. Come around here to the side, we're going to kind of get these arms just loosened up and out of the way. Come around here to the front section. These legs will lift up, rotate out onto the sides just like so. They do tab down, but you gotta angle them in the proper way and then just push them in there. There we go. Then do that on this side as well. Swivel that around, locking that into place just like so. Take this section, rotate this out, and then you're gonna have a little tab right here that slots in on the side. So just angle that all the way back, put that like so. Kind of lift this up just like that. Do that on this side as well. Kind of angle that, get that into position, get these a little out of the way, pull these little bits out. These can be a little bit tricky to kind of grab hold of, so just reach in there, grab them, pull them out. Take this section, fold that forward, do that on this side as well, pull that all the way out just like that. So again, get these little arms out of the way, and then take this, rotate this around like so. Do that here as well. Bring these two halves together. This whole section, again, getting these arms kind of flexed and out of the way just to create some space here for you. Make sure you push that all the way in, and then take these little sections, slide that up like that, slide that up, and then bring these down here. Well, I'm sorry, you should bring this whole section down and cover this yellow section here. Tab that all down, get that in there, line all that up. There we go. Get that in there. Nice, just like so. And then you can take these and you can fold these sections down just like that. These arms then collapse down underneath. Make sure that stays tabbed up there. Rotate this around like that. Tab this in. You got a little notch right in here that you're gonna push that into, kind of locking that into place right there. Do that on this side as well. And then again, we're going to, there we go. I guess we did have these in a proper kind of orientation, I suppose. So get it like that. Angle these out. Bring these back up. These are going to tab up underneath there. It's kind of hard to actually tab them up in there, but and honestly, I don't really do it most times. I just leave them kind of hanging out there. But set that right like so. Bring out his gun. Then take this, fold that forward, rotate this around, and then you just take this and you actually, I guess it doesn't really matter which way it goes in, but you just slide it in, kind of shimmy it over a little bit. And there you have Hypno back in his insect mode. And last up we have Claymore. So again, taking out his gun, getting that out of his hand just like so, closing that fist back up. We're going to take these little bits, just kind of open these up, get them away from his body, straighten out his head some, and then close these back over his face, kind of hiding that little cute, adorable little face of his, and then just lifting this up, taking this section, collapsing this all the way down. You can push that in, and then again, you can straighten this out and kind of collapse these a little bit more, get those a little bit more lined up and closed properly. So doing that, take this section here, we're going to slide this down, well, we can take the feet and flip those around like so, I should say. Do that, slide that down there. Then you're going to take this section here, open this on the inside, just like so, swivel that out. Do that on this side as well. Pull that away, open that up just like that. Take his body, rotate that around here at the waist, then take these, rotate these around, and then they collapse like that. I'm sorry, you don't rotate them, you collapse them up just like so. There we go. A little bit better, a little less confusing looking, I suppose. And then you close these. I'm sorry, you should have brought these back in like that. Do that, and then you can bring these two pieces together, kind of straighten these out along here, squeeze these sections together here in the back, kind of straighten that out just like so. These arms right here, you're going to bring these down, and then actually you got to rotate this section down and around. I forgot to do that as well. So down and around, and then you just line that up along the side here, and you got that little notch on the side of his thigh that this little tab is going to go into. So just find that, line that up there, and it's not easy because again, it's hard to see kind of, and then once you get it there, just push that in. So there we go, just like that. And then this section, when you have this all the way back, just push this forward and that kind of locks it in. What you basically do is you got a little notch right here that, again, I forgot to rotate his hand around on this side. So bring this out, rotate this around. You got a little hole on the inside here, like a little thruster kind of thing. So when you bring this in, you're actually taking this section, sliding this forward, and that locks into that bit as well. So it gives extra stability to it. So keep that extended all the way up. Find that little notch on the side of his thigh, push that in, there we go, and then slide that forward just like that. Kind of bring these back, take these, rotate these out, fold this out like so, and then you can position his little pinchers however you want. But there you have Claymore back in his little insect mode. Now, all in all, I really do like these guys. The design of them is really very fun. Every one of them has a unique bit of engineering that really is like, wow, that's really innovative and pretty creative to actually do. I think that they did a great job of taking those classic Insecticons in terms of their toy and kind of updating them, putting in a new articulation, a larger size, much better detail and paint applications. All that put in here to really bring these into kind of the modern era. And like I said, I honestly really do enjoy these figures. When it comes to Claymore and Hypno, they're probably my favorite. I just think that the design is a little bit more cohesive with these guys. Kickback, kick butt I should say, I really do like, but I think that his insect mode legs could have been done a little bit better. But that being said, the engineering to transform him into his robot, the actual legs, is still pretty cool. So while that's probably the weakest part I think on him, there is still some really cool things going on in the design of his legs themselves. All of them are absolutely cool. And as you could see when I had a Polyon and the Soundwave out here, they look really great with other Masterpiece figures. The plastic quality is really top notch. The engineering is really well done. The paint, I really like the silver that they put on here. Whatever they're using for this silver paint really does stand out and look really quite nice together. But I'm impressed. Bad Cube continues to do more and more figures that just improve on their previous releases. And I'm happy to see that these ones do as well. So if these are the particular figures that you would like to pick up, or if you do want to get the collector editions, as I said, with the clear chest pieces, the die-cast parts, and an improved paint scheme, all of them are available for pre-order at Big Bad Toy Store. So all you have to do is click on the link down in the video description. You'll go to BBTS where you can pick these guys up and add them to your collection. But beyond that, that's about it. So once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. This has been Optibotimus. Don't forget that you can keep in touch with me by liking my Facebook page at facebook.com/TeamBotimus and by following me over on Twitter at twitter.com/Optibotimus. Also, I'd encourage you to check out my website at optibotimusreviews.com, where you can see all my videos from the previous week, see what I have coming up for future release, and also get your very own Optibotimus t-shirt. And finally, I'd also really appreciate it, guys, that if you like this review, don't forget to please like and comment, and be sure to subscribe so that you never miss a future review. And until next time, I'll talk to you later.